What is going on, guys? Thursday, June 11th. It's 5:03. Whoa. Those lives are being aired later and later. But like I said, it will be in the afternoon. And today, if you don't know me, I'm Marcin, 17 years of photography, doing this successfully. I'm here every Thursday sharing all the puzzle pieces to kind of and guiding you through the process of building photography business. Regardless of where you are, could be different levels. I always say, and I'm going to run through this very quickly today. There's a community that you can join, 100 members, no paywall. Get it while it's free, while it's hot. If that's not for you, you can scan the QR code. You can contact me directly. You have access to my Facebook Messenger. So if you have any questions, do that. If you have questions here under the video, you can leave them in comments. It's always super helpful because I know kind of, where to go with the next episode. What is it that you guys are missing? And today I was actually kind of contemplating, like, what's the next step? What are we missing here? And I wanted actually today to focus on a platform. Why? Because like even in the past videos, I have talked about the different solutions, different platforms. We've talked about like email marketing, keeping the list, maybe keeping the pipeline. I think we've talked about a pipeline in one of the past episodes. And today I'm like, what's the next logical step? And I actually wanted to talk about a platform today. We'll talk about HighLevel, but there's other platforms that are available to you guys. I personally prefer HighLevel, but what you're going to do, it's entirely up to you. Why do we have to talk about one platform? So, and why am I saying platform? What does that really mean? So let me land this plane. Your website right now is a digital brochure. It's just sitting out there with the hope that somebody will come across and use contact form. That's about it for most of you guys. I'm not saying everybody, I'm not generalizing, but for most of you. And what needs to happen is it needs to be more interactive. Like we're past the stage of the website being just the digital brochure that somebody can stumble upon, or you can generate ads against, right? We have to make sure that your website is actually doing work, that your website is an actual employee. And the only way we can do it is through platforms like HighLevel, where when the leads happen to go to your website, it's not really about you. There's not 15 sections for them to get lost in. It leads them through a process of capturing their information, answering the questions they want answers to, and possibly even scheduling calls. It can, like, websites these days can do a lot of stuff as long as they live on the right platform. I will talk about some main features of HighLevel. This is not a HighLevel go through like every option or whatever. This is just for awareness for those of you guys. If you don't know what HighLevel is, or if you haven't seen a platform that sort of operates in that way, this is what this video is about. So as always, I have a slide deck for you, and I will bring it up. And the very first slide here is stop managing software, start managing clients. Right now, if you're a photographer, chances are you have the website. It's probably some sort of a WordPress, or maybe you're hosting it somewhere else, but it's a platform. If you happen to have a list of clients, you probably have some sort of email software where you send out your newsletters, right? Your just regular stuff, your drip campaign, where emails go out maybe every month, maybe every week, or whatever, but like you have software for that. Then maybe you have a platform that handles a chatbot for your website. This is for like more advanced photographers, right? That are in a game. You may have what else? There's like plenty of them, but like even for things like contracts, right? Some sort of an admin portion. Maybe you have a CRM like 14 Hats, or again, there's plenty of choices to choose from. 14 hats, or 17 hats, and then we have things like Pixie Set, which I even talk about, and I quite frankly like a lot, where where certain functionality is there. The problem is it's hard to keep up. You have different logins, it's different technology, it's being updated all the time, right? And it's just hard. So having that on one platform would be super helpful. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. You're not going to manage a lot of pieces, different independent components, and making sure that they talk to each other. Like, we used to do it via like Zapier, if you're familiar with that. But Zapier would be responsible for like taking, part of the information here from one system, sending it over to another system. It was just convoluted, complex, and it would give a lot of people a lot of headaches. This has changed recently in the last few years, and there are different platforms. There's ClickFunnels, there's HighLevel, whatever. Today, I'm here to talk about HighLevel. And I want to just and I want to just start HighLevel and then kind of get you down to the actual functionality to give you just examples of what it might be, right? So what's inside HighLevel. So stop managing software, start managing clients. You should not be focusing on teaching yourself software components. You should be focusing on making sure that your clients are happy, because that's going to bring more money, more clients, more referrals. Why photographers drowning in tech, and what to do about it. So I sort of spin the beans already to telling you that this is the platform we're going to tackle today. But on the second slide, let me move this forward a little bit. I already mentioned that, so let me just go quickly through it. Let me just reorganize my space a little bit better here. Where most photographers are today, so I mentioned the different pieces. CRM. Contacts live in one app. Some people on top of it have like separate software that manages the pipeline, which is basically, where are the clients on their journey. Some people are not even aware that they should be tracking, and that's problematic. So some of us still have, I don't know, Google calendars and schedules and to-do lists in two separate platforms. So bookings in another tool. Very often we do that. Forms and contracts, like information that we gather from clients. It could be on another platform. So you see kind of where I'm going with this. And the email I already mentioned, completely disconnected on the separate platform, and very often not even on the platform. It's just like you're the platform, you're sending emails. So that's exactly what we're trying to eliminate, and we're trying to make it more automated and more independent. Like, we don't need to be involved with this information. It should be done once, consistent across the platform, across all the clients. Depends. I guess that depends, because if you're doing weddings, the platform should be catering to a wedding client. But if you're doing portraits, the platform should be catering to a portrait client. It should be separate, like one platform, but it should be separate communication and catering to a different avatar, a different client, right? So you're managing software, not clients. I said that already. And on the next slide, we have, there's a better way. There's one platform. So the principle of consolidation, I remember when I kind of discovered HighLevel and ClickFunnels before that, and it was just mind blowing because the thing is, it's like, okay, but there's a learning curve. Like, to learn a platform, it may take some time, right? So like, you're gonna have to, even if you do it on your own, you're gonna have to spend that time, and very often, we don't have that time. So I would suggest like identifying what are the main components first, and then just sort of tackling, the whole thing one by one. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but every tool you add creates a new gap. The solution isn't more apps, it's fewer apps and better ones. There should be one login, one system, and one source of truth, so that you don't manage contacts on your calendar here, in your emails there, on your form submission somewhere else. It should be all in one place. One login, no more tab switching or password resets. One system, everything works together seamlessly. So if we mark a client as a headshot client, he stays a headshot client, and we don't have to chase that information anywhere else. And if he is tagged as a client, then the communication, everything else should be catered to him, because he's this type of client or she's this type of client. So everything in one place, and one source of truth, every client, every lead, every booking. in one place, as I mentioned before. And then the real cost of disconnected tools. So there's a cost of like learning and maintaining and just making sure those systems work together, which is crazy in a way, right? But then there's real cost, the cost of like the what you pay monthly, right? And those things add up. Like between Google platform, just basic domain, email, your CRM, your 14 hats, your email campaigns. I mean, you name it, right? There's always a cost. It may not be a lot, but like it adds up over time, right? Especially with now AI tools and like it gets up there. So here I just mentioned that you're probably paying for CRM, which is $30 to $60 a month. Scheduler is another 15 to 25. I don't know, like Calendly or something, right? Email 20 to 50 for depending on what platform, which platform you are on. The cost is different, and then forms another 15 to 30. So like, and then you start stacking up, and the cost goes up and up and up, and eventually, it could be. It's not uncommon to have like a $250, $300 bill for all the platforms that you're trying to manage. And then you have so then you look at it and it's like I did the comparison here on the screen, multiple tools, and this is kind of like high level. So multiple tools, there's 4+ subscriptions between 80 to 165 a month. That number is super 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 low. Usually it's around $250. Some people pay more. I've heard photographers paying closer to like $400 for all the platforms, depending on what you're running. And then you have, I said 4 subscriptions, but there's more. There's 4+ logins. There's more than 4. Disconnected data. The data doesn't talk to each other. Like Google Calendar cannot talk to the form that's being submitted in order to understand who the lead is and why are they in your ecosystem. So that's a problem. And then high learning curve, because you got to keep up with this stuff. With GoHighLevel, you basically have one platform, you have one subscription, you have one login. It's all in one data. The data understands all the data pieces. So regardless of whether you're on the calendar, in your pipeline, doing it, invoicing, sending out emails, like it's all the same stuff. It's interconnected, interwoven, right? So all in one data, and then faster onboarding, because you don't have to spend time entering the same information in 12 different systems. You just go into one and it's usually the same thing. It's very easy to once you kind of get traction, to even hire somebody, even have your kid or have somebody enter this information for you and manage the system for you. So it's easy to pass on this role and take off the multiple hats and just kind of convert it into one and pass it on to one person that can help you with your business as you continue to grow. So that's the comparison there. And then one platform, one learning curve. I already said 6 platforms, 6 interfaces, 6 support docs, 6 billing cycles, six different support teams. Like, it's just madness. With GoHighLevel, learn it once, use it everywhere. One support team supports all the systems. You don't have to deal with different teams, different hours, different ways of like getting support if you need support. Faster launch, get up and running in days, not months, because everything comes in like templates and it's relatively easy. There's a learning curve, don't get me wrong. You're gonna have to spend time, but at least everything is in one place. And then everything you need is pretty much built in. So let me just spend some time on this slide. Lead capture. Like I said, right now, somebody goes to your website, nothing really happens unless they end up in in your contact section, sending out, filling out that little form. There's really no incentive for clients to do it. What if they come to your website and like go into a gallery section, they go through some photos and they get interrupted? You potentially lost the lead. What if it happens 50 times a month? Like, that's unacceptable, right? So, and it happens very often. Like, you may see, I don't know if you guys are tracking your Google Analytics, for example. but it's very often when you look at Google Analytics data, you see traffic coming to your website. Like there are people looking, and it's like, where are they? Right? Out of like 112 people that visited your website this week or this month or whatever the number happens to be, it's like one person reached out, and we didn't even get the consultation. So that needs to change. Like we have to be sort of more in control. So lead capture with platforms like this, when they get to your website, there's usually some sort of an incentive, a form that pops that, that starts the process of lead capture. It could be your chat with AI. It could be your conversation with AI. It could be a form that pops, right? But there's always something. There's an action. There's a button, something they have to click, something they have to move that starts that process, and it basically it's there to make sure that you're not losing potential lead, you're not leaving money on the table. So that's number one on the list. Number two on the list is pipelines. So not only it captures the information from the lead, it can also take that information and put it into your contact list. That's just absolutely crazy. So imagine somebody comes to your website, they go to a little, I'll use chatbot as an example, right? Like the little blurb, little window on the bottom of the website. They click on it. There's a question. They can ask questions, and it's interactive. Do I talk about it here? I'll actually talk about it later. But so I'll talk about details later. But the thing is, if they interact with the chatbot can basically in the conversation ask questions for like first name or email or phone number, and it can automatically take that information and put it into your contacts. Automatically you have that information, unless they fill out your form on a contact your contact form, you don't have it. Here you automatically capture the lead, and you have it in your system, and it can go further. It can schedule meetings for you straight from the website without you ever kind of touching anything, right? So but here, what I want to talk about is the concept of the pipeline, and some of you are already familiar with the pipeline, and you should be, by the way, if you're considering yourself a business owner. But pipeline is basically it basically shows not components, but I want to say different sort of. It's not components, it's not iterations, it's different phases that your customer is going through. So it could be a cold lead, somebody that ended up on your website through the app, or maybe somebody was recommended to your website. That would be considered a warm lead. But they end up on your website. Maybe they come from an ad, and they are at the very beginning of the journey. They don't know who you are, and you have to, in the pipeline, push them through the different stages of being a cold lead, not knowing anything about you, to maybe doing something that you're asking them to do on the website. Maybe they download information, maybe they fill out a form. As they take those steps, they move in the pipeline from the beginning to the end. The end of the pipeline is when they buy. So the platform can handle it for you, because the platform understands what they did. If they've provided information, if they have filled out a form, if you have sent them 5 emails, it can automatically push out an email with call to action. So the lead moves from the cold stage to the warm stage, and the system handles it for you. So it handles the entire pipeline, which is phenomenal. The next thing is conversational AI. I already kind of tapped into it. Conversational AI is basically when the lead lands on your website and it has either a chatbot or some sort of a voice AI feature where they can talk to AI. And this is absolutely mind-blowing, because the thing is, it can talk to AI, and you can set it up in a way so that it's working, it's answering questions according to the, let's call it, a knowledge base that you provide to AI in the background. So it knows exactly what it can answer versus what it cannot answer. And if you are in the testing stages, if you're picking up that the system is answering the question maybe not the ideal way that you would like the system to handle that particular question, you can instruct the system that if they ask for pricing, maybe give them the breakdown of the pricing, maybe give them an exact packages. You are in full control in terms of like, what do you want the system to tell them, right? Which is really, really nice. And it's not like the system is fabricating answers. You can almost take it to the level where you imagine having an interview with somebody for an hour, and they take down all the notes based on your answers. They have all the answers. You can pretty much provide that information to AI, your internal employee, and AI can handle the rest. So it knows exactly the borders within which it has to operate. Mind blowing. So next thing is scheduling. So as you talk to the AI, as you interact with the chatbot, it can actually ask questions and it can put that lead on your schedule. You can define hours. Most of you are probably familiar with Calendly or some sort of a scheduling tool. And the client can actually go in through the chatbots on your website and can schedule a call with you, which is really super nice because you have one calendar to go to. You can actually create multiple calendars depending on what it is, because it could be different types of clients, right? Or maybe you have different photographers working with you. They can have different calendars. So that's really cool, because automated booking with confirmations and reminders, that's exactly what it's doing, and you're already paying for it extra, right? Here, you're only paying one fee for everything. The automated booking with confirmations, it's like it not only books, but also reminds. How can it remind a client? You're probably asking. Well, it can send out an email. It can send out a text message. It can send out a voice message. It's just kind of funny how good those platforms are these days. And scheduling is very important, and it's on other tasks that's kind of off your list. Workflows and automation. We can spend a whole episode just on this one. Workflows and automation is basically, as your client is captured, imagine right now, so far, I've been talking about a single website, right? Let's say it's like in my case, weddings, right? The lead comes in, all they see is weddings. But what if you have multiple landing pages? What if you advertise? What if in one circle you tell somebody that you're a pet photographer and give them the address of the pet website, but in another circle you're selling yourself as a headshot photographer, which is totally cool. You send them to a different landing page, and then in a different circle you're saying I'm doing weddings, and in another circle you're a boudoir photographer. The cool thing about a platform is that it can capture those leads. It understands where they come from, and it can assign tags. It can label them accordingly, and because they're labeled accordingly, it can then kind of cater the information to those leads. So when they land on the landing page, and for those of you guys that don't know, website contains everything. Landing page contains only the information the client cares about. So if you're talking to me and I'm a dog owner and I'm interested only in dog information, dog pet photography, I don't want to end up on your wedding website. Because it's an automatic disconnect, you're going to lose a lead. So when you send me to a landing page with information about pet photography, then that's the only thing I need to know about, right? And the subsequent information that comes to you via email, text messages, notifications, it just relates to pet photography, which is super cool. One platform solves 4 different issues. So workflows are exactly for that. It's automation, follow-ups, and tasks that run without you. You can set up conditions. You can tell the system to do different things. And I have to tell you, we would have to probably spend, I said 1 episode, but I definitely see how we can spend, 2-3 episodes on this. Client communication, I already mentioned that. SMS, email, DMs in one unified inbox. This is absolutely mind-blowing. It doesn't matter how the client communicates with you, whether they're on Facebook via DM, email, SMS, you go to the platform and everything is consolidated in one view. So regardless of how you got the message from them, everything is funneled into a single stream of information. And if you respond, they get the response the right way. So super, super, super helpful. Those are just like main components of the platform. But I can actually, before I tell you the last announcement here, which I'm super excited about, is that you don't have to figure it out alone. At the beginning I mentioned the SKOOL community, dedicated GHL section. Inside the SKOOL community, there's no paywall right now, so hop in. First 100 members, I said there will be no paywall. Focus space inside the community build around GoHighLevel, because I will be talking about the platform. I will be specifically addressing issues around HighLevel, and this is exactly what I'm going to be helping out photographers build. So implementation training, step-by-step walkthroughs for real-world photography workflows. I'll be spending time talking about the platform and showing you exactly what the different features are about and how to sort of link them into your world. And the other thing that I was super excited about is that if you're familiar with the channel, you already know that there is an interview section on the channel. If you don't know, you should check it out, because I get together with photographers and I talk to different photographers from different genre of photography about kind of, you know, how they run their businesses, what's working, what's not working today. So it's current information. It's not just theory, right? That you read in the outdated book. But the thing is, in the interview section, I actually have Jonathan Mast, which you guys may be familiar with or not. Jonathan is a phenomenal AI expert. He was the keynote speaker at the Sync 2026 this year. He was invited again. He's that good for the 2027 keynote speech or training, really. And Jonathan confirmed his interview. He will be on the channel on August 27th. So super, super, super stoked. I will bring him in. We'll talk about AI. We'll talk about HighLevel. Because it's definitely something that photographers should be not focusing on, but definitely implementing over time into their businesses, into their systems, because it saves a lot of headaches. It helps you with your business. It's just the amount of value that it provides. It's just absolutely tremendous. So mark the calendar, August 27th. There will be a dedicated section. I think I'll be joining Jonathan for about like an hour discussion on both the HighLevel platform, but just AI in general, because he's full of information, that relates to AI and how AI should be implemented into your businesses today. Today, I think that was it for today. Hopefully this was helpful. I will actually include, if you're interested, I will include a 14-day trial to HighLevel in the description below, so you know where to find the link. I would recommend hop in, see what the system is about. You can sign up and then you can decide not whether you should be using it, but like how soon you should be using it. It's super, super, super important that you guys understand and take value of this. So I will include the link below. For today, this is it. For next week, I don't think I have anything on the agenda. If any questions, if I'll find any questions below, if there's anything specific about HighLevel that you want me to answer, leave the question below, or scan the QR code, this one that you have on the screen, and reach out, and we'll definitely address any questions that you may have, because we got to make sure you're moving and that you're moving fast. Thank you for today. Thanks for the attention, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.